Hey guys, Pope Sano here. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support that this channel's been seeing. I promise so much more content is going to be coming all the time. Alright, we have a 500 sub giveaway going on. I guarantee probably within a week or so this giveaway is going to happen. So what you got to do is go to my Discord. So go to the channel bio, you'll find the Discord link, go there, and then go to the 500 subscriber giveaway channel. When you're there, just follow the information, follow the details, and you're in. Alright, good luck. Let's get to the video. Here's the thing about jungle. Every time you make a mistake, that costs you 5 seconds, that costs you 10 seconds, that costs you 20 seconds. That adds up over the course of a game, right? So, yes, we're talking about tempo here overall, but this is how we play Jarvan, right? Jarvan is tempo. Hey guys, Pope Zano here, back with another VOD review. Today we're looking at a Jarvan player in Silver Elo. This is the Brazil server, by the way, and so, yeah, excited to see about this matchup. You know, Jarvan and Zac are two really interesting characters in the jungle because they can both make early plays. They both have really unique gank styles in which you can get over certain walls, cool flash abilities, you know, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. What I hope is that you decide to start top lane this game, and it looks like you might be pathing down towards bot. I hope you're not. But I hope that you start up here, and the reason being is because if we actually just take a quick look at the matchups here, double range top lane is generally something you want to avoid. Now, that said, a Veigar is fairly like immobile, and so if he gets pushed all the way up here, then you know there will be gank opportunities. So look, I'm really glad that you're deciding to start top here. I kind of wish that you started on Raptors. I think Jarvan's solo Raptor start is really strong, but that said, this is it's totally okay to do the red buff here. Really nice use of your flag in order to drag the Krugs towards you. That's really good to see. And you know, guys, another reason why I really like that he is starting on this top side is because look at our bot lane matchup, which is Ashe and Morgana against a Vayne and Vel'Koz. Relatively immobile bot lanes, but our bot lane has a ton of CC. They're already going to get first blood, so I hope you're paying attention to what's going on here. Okay, Vayne gets a double kill, but she does go down. So what does this mean? That by the time you get back, or by the time you get bot, excuse me, let me stick on you here. The enemy bot lane is, they're not going to have many summoner spells, so really interested to see what you do here. Doesn't look like you're going to full clear. You might be looking towards mid, which I don't mind. The only thing is that if Talon starts to path up, this is going to be too difficult of a gank. We might be wasting our time. I think you're wasting your time here unless you're willing to blow flash. Yeah. I'd like to see you. I'd like to see you leave here. I think this is too much of a waste of time. Talon is too safe. He can go over the wall. He decides to just blow his flash instead of going over the wall for free, but he does get out. So maybe a bit of a time waste here. I think, like, look, I don't mind that you're looking for ganks, right? Jarvan can be very flexible. One thing I do like that you did was you came out here, you were going to go towards this camp, but you actually realized that, hey, maybe there's something mid, and so you look towards it. Okay, then that's totally fine with me. I'm glad at least you're looking towards that type of thing. Okay, I keep double clicking on you and it keeps clicking off. But again, I want to see you maybe looking towards bot lane here. If we look at what's going on, they're getting shoved in, so you don't need to go there right now. That is okay. We go back into our full clear. So just going back to when you actually took blue, in this situation, I think you're valuing Crab a little bit too much. The problem that you might get into here is now that you've taken 1, 2, 3, right? Well, we don't need to worry about red because it's not going to spawn on our next sequence. But these two camps are going to spawn well before both our wolves and our gromp at this point, and so you're breaking up your own sequencing, which can get you in a bit of trouble here. As far as, you know, if not much happens in this game and you end up full clearing, you could fall behind Zach just for that fact alone. The other thing is, like, early crab, it's not nearly as important as getting these two camps to no longer be level 1. Like, level 1 crab frankly does nothing for you. After level 1 crab, it's actually pretty good, but if you don't get crab early, it's actually not that big of a deal. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that argue with me in the comment section probably, but at the end of the day, I think it's just reality. Level 1 crab simply doesn't do enough for you to be breaking your own sequence here. So just something to consider. The other thing, though, that I will say is that, let's say, for example, you could take crab, like you take blue, you take crab, and then your bot lane is getting shoved in, then I actually wouldn't mind this pathing, because you could take crab on your way down towards bot lane or up towards mid lane, but there just isn't any of that here, and so we end up making this weird, like, really what happened was you came down. Oh man, this is gonna drive me nuts. I keep clicking on you and it keeps clicking off, but you basically have been wandering around your jungle a bit too much, and it's costing you a lot of precious time here. So Zach gets his gank off, right? So if we check his CS, he's level 4, he has 24 CS, fantastic. So from our perspective, what we can know fairly well is that basically Zach probably, like, and here's the tricky thing about jungle tracking. In this situation, if I was looking at this and he had 24 CS, I would think he just full cleared, therefore his gromp was down, and Scuttle crab would be up, right? So sometimes it doesn't always work out perfectly, but we do know that it would be a good assumption to make that he is full cleared his whole jungle, and that top crab would be up. I think if that's what you were thinking in this game, I would not blame you, is basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, so now we're going back to sequence our top, and I think this is ultimately a product of what I was talking about here, right? Where we end up wasting a bit of time, we break our sequencing weird, and now you're clearing these camps simply just too slow, right? You're gonna get a good base off with a lot of gold to spend, but it's just a bit too slow. However, I think you're actually remedying the problem. So this is like the duality of jungle sometimes. You put yourself in a situation where then you have to make a hard choice, right? Of what exactly do I do? In this situation, you kind of broke your sequencing. My goodness, this cam right now. In this case, you kind of broke your sequencing and you are now fixing it. Okay, sometimes you have to do that. So I actually don't mind that you fixed your sequencing, but you have to realize now that you have lost a lot of tempo in this game for that reason. Okay, so we go ahead and we buy a serrated Dirk. Okay. I really like... I'm not a huge fan of Assassin Jarvan. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but you have to be quite ahead, I would say, to make it work. Ultimately, what's going to be so much easier is you going the Bruiser style with like Gore and I think it's like Gore and Shojin and Frozen Heart right now. It's really, really strong. Okay, so I just want to back it up and just see your decision to go to Dragon here. So your Gromp and your Wolves aren't going to be up quite yet because you just resequenced towards top. We know that for a fact. Now, we don't actually know where Zach is. That's the big question mark for me. But the one thing that I like about this, and I hope this is what you recognize, this is the reason why I'm going to say that doing the Dragon here is actually not a bad play. Your bot lane is on their way back. They've already reset. Their bot lane is on their way out, right? So if you're starting Dragon basically as their bot lane is completely gone, and your bot lane is there to provide assistance, then I don't mind this at all. I do not mind this whatsoever. Only sketchy thing maybe is that your mid doesn't have total priority, but overall, I like it. Another thing here, just mechanically, so you trying to EQ this, you're going to get knocked back, right? We know that when we deal damage to the dragon, it's going to push everything back in an AoE immediately after. Just be patient. Drop your E, wait for that animation to happen, then Q. Just a small thing, but, you know, we want to make sure we're doing this correctly. Overall, I like the decision to do Dragon here, because pretty much this whole time you have your bot lane ready to come help. Personally, I would have pulled it out into the river, but overall, I like it. I like it a lot. So here, I'm interested. Okay, you do go bottom. I said I'm interested because they're clearly fighting bottom. I think you could have realized this a bit earlier, right? So if we watch, you're doing the crab up here, and they start fighting. They're engaging, and you obviously didn't see this, right? This is just a bit of map awareness. When you're doing crab, you have to be F-keying, you have to be moving your camera around the map, however you like to do that. I don't care, just make sure you're seeing stuff. At the end of the day, like, Scuttle Crab doesn't even fight you back, right? So we have to be keenly aware of what's going on around this. This is, her dying here is not necessarily your fault, but you not punishing this is actually a huge, I think a huge error. So here, like, you know, you just notice way too late, my friend, way too late. So Dragon Call, really good, but we have to be paying attention to the map a little bit more. And I think, like, one of the things, the more coaching that I do for lower elo players, one thing I realize is that there is normally a lot of consistency issues, because when you came out of base, right? When you came out of base, and I was talking about why it was actually pretty decent that you're doing Dragon here, specifically based on the bot lane priority. You were clearly looking at the map because you saw them base, and that's the reason why I assume that you knew it was a good idea to do it. But then here, right, then immediately right here, we make the mistake of simply not paying attention to the map. So let's get more consistent with that. We're gonna get boots and a tier. Okay. So you definitely don't need tier on Jarvan. It's just, wow. Okay, she's getting destroyed. You don't need tier on Jarvan. It's honestly, I think in this case you're just kind of down 400 gold. Doesn't do enough for you. Jarvan doesn't really have mana problems. I would much rather you have a Frozen Heart to give yourself more mana if you don't even really need it, but. Yeah, Assassin Jarvan is just, I think it's just inferior right now. So here coming out of base, I just want to point something out. I don't mind you taking red buff if there's nothing else to do, right? So I should just click on you for this so that we can see. Okay, so just down here, guys, if we notice, look, he's not going to hit level 7 off of this camp. Okay, in fact, he's not even really going to hit level 7. He shouldn't hit level 7 off of all 3 of these camps that are up in this line. Okay, I'm not drawing on the map, by the way. I'm trying to draw down by raptors. So these 3 camps are not going to give him 7. If there was something to do on the map, I would prefer you to be doing it. Right now, that is definitely going to be the Herald. But if you're going to do Herald or a big objective like this, I think it's okay to take your red buff at least. So what I'm happy to see is that, A, there is no ganks that I think you can really perform right now. So just looking at like mid, for instance, this gank is never going to work. Talon is simply too safe. He has his, I believe he's got his ultimate up, or his ulti up very soon. He has flash, he has dash over the wall. Too safe. Quinn is pushing in, and obviously you're so far from bot lane. So the only thing that I'm considering right now is Herald, or potentially going to drop a ward and then do Rift Herald. Right, we haven't seen Zach in a little bit, so we're not entirely sure where he's at. But you know, this is just my thought process. So again, if there was an immediate gank, I would prefer you not to do this. But because there isn't an immediate gank, I'm okay with you doing this. But I want you to look towards Herald here. Okay, so let's just see what you do. The state of jungle right now, I personally think you should only be taking camps if they give you something fairly immediate. I mean, obviously there will be times where you're just farming to farm. If there's literally nothing to do, that's totally fine. But generally speaking, there's gonna be something to do. So this is really good. We use our top lane priority. We use the fact that we don't need to sequence our camps right now in order to get the Herald. I really like this. I think this is a phenomenal call. This is the type of stuff I want to see. Really good. Like, actually really good. Okay, so I don't know. You're standing still for a while. Okay, were you AFK? I don't fully know what was going on. Okay, so here's just a tip. By the way, I'm not actually a fan of going mid here. I'm not a fan of going mid here at all because, like, obviously Zach is going to be here to cover. I mean, I would say there's at least an 80-85% chance based on the information that you have, or just the fact that you haven't seen him in like 8 years, that he is going to be mid here to defend whatever's going on. Also, this is a full health tower. Don't waste Rift Herald on it. I want you to go towards a lane that can set you up better. I mean, your bot lane's losing, but I wish you were playing around them a little bit more. They have way too free of gank setup for you to not be going there. Obviously, you have to be careful with Vayne condemning you after you ult and that type of thing. That said, I don't like this Rift Herald drop because you're just not going to get anything off of it. First off, the wave is way too small, right? This is going to die way too quick. And if you drop Rift Herald, it's only going to take, you know, a turret plate and a half or so. So you're getting very little for what Rift Herald can do, right? What I'm looking for is a hard winning lane, someone that has been, you know, chipping down the turret. And if there is none of that, then I'm looking to go chip down a turret myself, get a huge advantage, or just hold on to Rift Herald for a priority later, right? So another thing I want to say here, you drop your standard like right here. You should generally be dropping your standard behind you. It's still going to give you the attack speed bonus, right? And the thing is, the second you see like a Zac shadow on top of you, you know he's Eing, you can instantly Q and you can get out, right? This goes for anything. It could be any skill shot. It could be Talon arriving. It could be, you know, Vel'Koz showing up to try to hit you. Like whatever it may be, put your standard behind you so that you can basically Q away. Dropping it at your feet means you give yourself 0 escape. You end up being totally fine here, but you get the idea, right? So yeah, you see here how it's just like this. It just didn't really do anything. Sure, you got 2 tower plates. I just don't think it's worth the cost of using the pressure that Rift Herald can give. Okay, we smite the camp. Okay, we know that Zac is here looking at us. Alright. So your bot dies again. Zac wants to fight you here. Okay, you don't quite... Yeah, I was gonna say you don't quite notice what's going on, maybe? So here, right, like, this is, again, I would say this is... I don't know if you might have your camera locked on you like this, and that's why you can't see this, but again, this is just a bit of map awareness stuff. We need to be able to notice that this is going on and instantly start walking down, right? So we use our EQ, we don't fully notice, we do end up getting the Vayne. I think it could have been much cleaner. You get the camp, Zac has to get away. Alright. So right here, get the kill. Whoops. Let me try that again. You get the kill. Zac's gonna run away from you. Let me click on you, right? You have EQ up. The question for me is, are you gonna get this kill? Like what is the likelihood that you actually kill Zac here? I would say it's basically slim to none, right? All you have is EQ. If you want, because I don't believe you have vision of Zac, you have to be ready to EQ this way, and you have to have your finger on the flash button ready to flash on top of him to knock him up, right? If this is what you're going to do, you have to be ready for that type of thing, because he's already out of your EQ range. If you're not ready for that type of thing, we need to recognize that this play is dead, right? And just instantly like cut this idea out of our head and just go back and clear, or go back to base, or whatever it is you decide to do. So here, he's just too far away, right? Even your flash, I don't think it's going to reach at this point. So this is just a bit of you know, a bit of map awareness stuff over here, and then a bit of I guess overzealous chasing. There's a few things in this game now. While I think you're playing generally fine, like your clearing looks good, I like where you decided to start. But there's a few things, like also the dragon was really good, by the way. But these few mistakes, you know, they're costing you time. And here's the thing about jungle. Every time you make a mistake, that costs you 5 seconds, that costs you 10 seconds, that costs you 20 seconds. That adds up over the course of a game, right? So yes, we're talking about tempo here overall, but this is how we play Jarvan, right? Jarvan is tempo. So our Syndra is an absolute smorf. You're gonna run straight to dragon. Actually gonna invade. I don't mind this invade, but also at the same time, it's like we see down here what's going on, right? I mean, you look for the invade. Maybe you're trying to work off of mid lane prio, okay? I mean, I guess I understand the logic of it, but isn't it just like we can see this going on, right? I would have loved for you to just walk down here, just take the simple play, you know? Yeah. So start fighting Zac and nothing comes of it, and I think we're gonna lose our gank opportunity here. And again, maybe just a bit of map awareness stuff here, or some overzealous chasing again. I think we're starting to see a bit of a pattern, right? Whoops, I just knocked my microphone. Sorry about that, guys. We're starting to see a bit of a pattern here. Okay. Okay, I wanna fight him here. He's able to get away, but you get the camp. Okay. Now is when I'm liking Dragon. We know that Zac was very low. Yep. We know that Zac was very low. Our mid lane, we have mid lane priority. There's a lot of reasons to be looking for Dragon here, but we do have to be ready for this, right? If we know that they're coming, we got to be ready for the turn. Okay. So I like that you started the Dragon, but when they start to show like this, okay? Because basically this is your whole thing. You're trying to drag, that's a very annoying sound. You're trying to drag the enemies into a bad fight here. Your intention is not actually to finish the dragon, right? You know that you just forced Zac out. He was low, okay? And you have mid lane priority. So this is why you want to do the objective, because you're actually sure, you want the objective, but if you can fight here in an advantageous way, this is how we win games, right? We're playing towards a win con of our winning lane, of playing around people with CC. We have strong team fight, so we want to use it, right? What we do here incorrectly, though, is after we know that they're here, okay, we want to peel off, either pull this dragon out, force them to come in, and then you fight, or you simply just like maybe come down here. I don't know if you have a ward. We can check, but we're looking for an engage as well, right? We can see our teammates on this side of the wall. So we're kind of feigning that we want dragon, but the problem here is that you end up using your EQ, and now you're actually stuck in a horrible position. Like, if you were able, in this situation, if you were able to actually get on top of Vel'Koz or get on top of Vayne with your EQ, with this EQ that you just used, you're going to win the fight. Because you have Syndra right here, you have Morgana right here, Ashe is going to follow up from behind. Like, this Vel'Koz will get absolutely one shot. So instead of using your EQ here, you're just biding your time. You're pulling them towards you with the threat of doing dragon. You're sitting here in a position waiting to engage, right? So imagine if you're standing right here right now, because you know your actual objective is to engage in this advantageous fight. Vel'Koz still almost gets one shot. And unfortunately, you didn't have a combo up, and your team was too spread out, and it just doesn't work. So I would say this fight isn't completely on you or anything like that, but it is in part you obviously not being totally clear about what's going on, and what I guess like what it looks like to have an advantageous position in that moment. Okay, so you beeline out and you are looking for his top side. Yeah, again, I don't mind this because you... Well, I mean, we should be taking everything here. We should take everything here, right? Nothing's up. Nothing is up. and there's nothing really to do. Maybe there's a gank mid, maybe this guy will push out top, but those have not presented themselves yet. You have Quinn here, you have your laner in a strong position. Their top laner is far away, right? In this situation, if you're gonna beeline out and go and take a camp, which is good because you know that Zach can't quite be here yet, I want you to take everything if you have all of this going for you, right? If you have all of this going for you at the same time, let's take something. So I guess if you remember back to, I know I'm pausing a lot, but there's just a lot to mention here, guys. I'm gonna zoom way out because if you remember when you were level 6 and you took this, and I was saying, only take your camp if it gives you something tangible. It gives you a level, it gives you an item, or something along those lines. Or red buff is going to help you take an objective faster. That's totally fine, right? In this situation, you have your camps to take, sure. But these are always the last thing you should be doing. The second thing you should be doing is looking for ganks. The third thing you should be doing is looking for objectives. And then the fourth thing you should be looking for is basically the enemy camps. I would rather take enemy camps than my own camps because you're at least denying something, right? So in this situation, good job running past your camps. Excellent, well done. Good job recognizing that there wasn't really a lane to go to at that point. Good job, awesome. There's no objective to do, so obviously you're not doing that. Good job not standing in the pit, I guess. But there is something to be doing in terms of all these things going for you again. We want to be taking something, we want to be doing something, and then if there's nothing, literally nothing to do, then we focus on our own camps, right? More full cleary style junglers can get away with taking their own camps more just because they do it so much quicker. But here, if you're going to do one of your own camps, man, just you should have took Zach's blue. You had Quinn right beside you, right? I would rather have Zach's blue right now than my Raptors. So just an example of something to consider. So let me click on you. I'm losing the 1v1 to my mouse this VOD review, so my apologies for that. Okay, we take red buff. We see that our bot lane is getting shoved way in. But we have all the priority in the world to look towards the Herald here. I mean, I'm glad that you went and defended, but like I would be I mean, okay, I'll give you a pass. You were pinging your turret there. Generally, you do want to save your mid turret over second Herald because second Herald's not going to give you like tower place or anything like that. But it's still not horrible. I will be interested to see how you decide to do this. So just base here, yeah, good base, good base. The reason why I say just base here, actually, no, bad base. In my head, when I said that, this wave was bouncing out, but that was just me, you know, being mentally foggy. Basically, the reason why I say bad base now is because, again, if we're just paying attention to something going on the map, we should definitely be top here defending this. If this wave wasn't here, then 100% base. There's nothing to do, nothing is around you, so 100% base. But my bad there, and, you know, I definitely make mistakes sometimes, guys, and hey, I'm not afraid to correct myself. Okay, so I'm curious what we do here. Okay, so we come out. I think I'm not able to like click on your character right now. So when Talon uses his ulti, there's very little point trying to EQ this. Like at the end of the day, you're very rarely gonna actually be able to hit him. He goes completely invisible and gets a speed burst. You know what I mean? You would have to get fairly lucky, I think, to do that, unless you know it's very obvious. Okay. Okay, Zach's gonna CC you. You're gonna die. Alright. So, I just want to watch this again. I'm not a huge fan of your ultimate. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of, I guess, a few ways that you played this. At the end of the day, I like that you tried to trap Talon, but like he can just E out is the big problem. And the other thing is like, at the end of the day, he had Duskblade procced at this time. That's why you had to ult Zac. You couldn't actually target him. And I'm wanting to literally just straight up ult Talon because that he's the target that you want to kill, right? But unfortunately he's able to get out. I think if you just waited a split second, you're a bit more patient, you would have been able to have maybe a bit of a better ulti. The other thing is like walking straight up to Zac here. I mean, I guess we just have to know, maybe this is a bit of champion understanding, just knowing that Zac can CC us for days with what he has, and if Talon's not completely out of the fight, then yes, you are asking to die here, especially with Valkaz there. Okay. So I think in both fairly large team fights that you guys have lost around Dragon and now here, we're looking at a bit of mechanical errors, but the mechanical errors are more so like what you should do, and I think there may be a bit of confusion about what your role is or who should be your target, and that's what's causing these mechanical errors, if that makes sense. Okay, Ashley's not paying attention. She's like tilted out of her mind or something. Alright. Okay, what happens here? So I'm paying attention to Ash getting tilted. So you decide to go into your jungle, and I mean, I don't know if this is tilt on your end. We gotta know that Vayne is just too strong. You just use your standard, you're not getting away. So I would say that that's a little bit inty, my friend, a little bit inty, but again, you know, sometimes we got to keep our head on our shoulders here. And yes, you have basically lost control of your whole jungle now, so it's looking pretty rough. We're basically in desperation mode, so we need to be playing super tight, looking for any of the free gold that we can get. And the second that we see Vayne down here doing this, we have to just give up on the matter. So we still have Rift Heralds. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and kill Zac in his passive. Okay, Morgana takes the kill. That's kind of annoying, but let's see what we do. You have flash here. Flash, flash. Ooh. I was thinking that we could have... So in this situation... Yeah, actually, no, that's fine. That's fine. Looking back on it, so I think you played that totally fine. Good job. Okay, so we go back into our clear, and we are going to get at least a turret with Heralds. Sure, fine. I mean, that turret was going down anyway. Often I'm talking about through these games, right? Like, if there's nothing to do, then take your camps. When your team is this behind and you've lost control of your own jungle, if your camps are up and there's nothing like extremely vital to be doing at that time, like an actual active team fight, or they're doing Baron or something like that, take your camps. Now it kind of flips, right? It becomes your priority because you do not have control of this part of the map. And so it's actually priority to try and get these camps. So that's 100% okay with me. So yeah, do not mind that at all. Okay. I guess maybe a bit of like, again, map awareness stuff, because after we kind of just like, I guess I'm not fully understanding the pathing sometimes, and my suspicion again is that similar to the team fights, you're just getting a little bit lost as to what your role is and where you should be at any given time. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times I click on you, it keeps like automatically going off, but whatever. Okay, what can we do here? Well, obviously target number one is Vayne. Now okay, so I'm talking about, remember how I was talking about earlier when Talon ulted right here and you tried to EQ, but it's never going to work because Talon has a few ways to dodge and he also gets a big speed burst. In this case, now if we speed up right here, this is a perfect time to use your EQ, right? So she pops out here and we're going to see Quinn going in. Speed it up just a bit. So Quinn goes in. What is Talon's body language telling you he's going to do? He's going to Q or like WQ onto Quinn, right? So this is where when Talon is literally siloed in this way, like you guys are in a straight line, this is a way higher percentage EQ, right? So right here, I would not have minded if you actually decided to go straight in and try to disrupt. You have smite, you have flash, you can get out, right? You have ultimate, you could actually do quite a bit here. Get rid of that. Okay. Like, I know you may have died, but the thing is, in this situation, that was one of your better looks at a fight. And again, in a game when it's this bad, we do have to try for looks. And to be honest, that was infinitely worse than the situation you just had available to yourself. So, and I mean, look, like, none of this is really a bad reflection on you or anything like that. This is something that is very difficult in the game. Is playing from this far behind. So I'm just trying to give you some things to think about. And I'm not trying to say that I'm mathematically 100% correct when I'm saying, oh, you might get a kill if you EQ in here or whatever. Like, it's not really about that, I guess. It's more about the idea of training our minds to be trying to think, how can I come back? What are the situations that I'm looking for? What are the patterns that we can start to recognize, right? Okay, so we do our camp. Again, I don't mind. I don't mind us doing our camp here. Don't mind us taking this either. I don't think we have... I'm pretty sure we didn't know that they were doing this. Oh, okay, actually, here, then we did. Actually, do you have a ward? Otherwise, I will... You don't have a ward. Okay. I guess one thing I can say is, like, I truly don't mind you taking your camps here because you don't know that they're doing Baron. But that said, in this point in the game, you know, where Morgana is coming out of base and we just don't have vision of this, it is also on us to ping, hey, you know, can we get wards here? Like, you're just spam pinging on this. Like, please, you know, get me vision, whatever it may be. So, okay, they get Baron. What do we do here? Okay, let me just look back on this. Okay, we're walking through. Yeah, I want you to turn immediately. Oh man, I think you're just playing a bit too passive, because this is kind of similar to what we're talking about back over here. So in this situation, Talon goes invisible. We know exactly what he's going to do. I'm not saying to EQ this way because that is too, that's too low. Like it's too low percentage. That is the word I'm looking for. It's too low percentage. But what we do know is that Talon is ulted. Obviously, he's going to go for Syndra here, right? I want you to be not necessarily EQing this way, but you need to be ready, like immediately ready to try to defend her here. So then he goes on you, because maybe in part because of Syndra's flash, and we just take too long. We auto, and then we EQ away. So here, like, this guy's kind of trolling, you know? Now he's got 3 people staring at him. I want you to be like, nah, this is, it does not work that way, right? I think you could have EQ'd this. Like, would Vayne have killed you? Honestly, probably. But we have to look for these opportunities. You have ultimate. Vayne has a lot of damage, but so do you, right? You will actually deal considerable amounts of damage to Vayne, because you have Eclipse, you have your Ionian boots and longsword. It's actually nothing to scoff at. Nice EQR. Yeah, I like that EQR. I want to see some more pings. What do you want to do here? What do you want to do here? Or do you want to chase? Then ping. Do you want to go on Vayne? Then you got to ping, right? I want to see a bit more here out of you. Okay. Yeah. So again, I think we're just desperate, right? We're in desperation mode. We're trying to get anything we can. When we see them drop this. Oh, wait. Okay, so you kind of try to do the thing I was talking about earlier by dropping your standard behind you. First off, I think it's too far away if you're killing the wolves here, right? It's a bit too far away. So if you're going to do this, like, just drop it in a safe location. Like, you can go pretty close to the wall. But really, like, overall, doing this when we know that they see us, it's just too greedy. Like, they ward here, and you drop your standard and still try to kill this. It's a bit too greedy, right? We do want to get our camps and get as much gold as possible, but we can't necessarily die for a wolf camp. Or not necessarily, we can't die for a wolf camp. Okay, so Vayne could be in trouble here. Like, she's gonna get CC'd. Ooh, Syndra was, ooh, Syndra still gets her anyway, wow. And Talon goes down too, okay. Well, there's always ways back into the game. Morgana even gets out. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Yeah, let's see what we do. Alright, he flashes. I don't know if you weren't ready for that. There was a bit of a stutter there. Okay, I mean... yeah, Morgana gonna go down here. So I think this game ultimately is a product of... you did some good early things, but then I quickly was able to see how you weren't totally sure of your actual role in the game and what it means to team fight around, you know, a mid laner that has priority and a bot lane that has CC for you. Obviously, there was some issues with learning how to fight in the sense that you have an advantage around an objective, knowing that you're not actually trying to just finish the objective because that's what's going to get you in trouble, but rather we're trying to pull off from that objective. Good try. I mean, could have been quicker, but whatever. Honestly, at this point, it's so far gone. It's a good try. So yeah, maybe just a bit of like small things here and there, right? Even I liked how originally you cut off of wolves to look for a gank. Like, I guess I like that that's in your repertoire to think that way, but the actual gank itself was never going to happen, right? So we have to recognize these high percentage plays versus low percentage plays, what our position is in the team fight. So yeah, overall, I guess the blue team is going to end right away. All right. So, I mean, I hope just looking at this was helpful. I think, again, you played well. You have the brain for this, but I just want to see it getting a bit more consistent and trying to understand your champion's strengths, how you can play in a team fight. Overall, good game. I think that you have what it takes to climb, but it's just going to take a bit of work putting these pieces together. Guys, if you enjoyed this type of video, if you found something educational, please leave a like and a sub. And look, we have a 500 sub giveaway going on, so go down into the description to find out how to join the Discord and the 500 sub giveaway. Going to be giving away $50. And yeah, this has been another VOD review. I'm excited for the next one. We have a lot of them going on, so thanks everyone for your submissions. This has been Pope Paisano. We out.